if you are feeling like you don't have time to even do any kind of energy maintenance work, and also at the same token to maintain your vibration, to try to balance that and navigate through any kind of difficulty like losing your cool, and wanted to give you an example because I was reminded by Spirit, my guides I was inspired to share this with you. I had a reading recently, gave a reading recently, and at the end I typically answer questions and or give some kind of like advice or teachings, because typically the questions do come out as like, how do I do this, how do I do that, what do I do for this, what do I do for that, and it typically surround, gosh, I'm at a loss of words, typically relates to alchemizing energy maintenance and stuff like that in that field. So this reading at the end, she wanted to know about, how am I going to fit in time to do the meditative practices to keep my energy in check. And I'm not going to go into the context of the reading, but she wanted to know that, and also how can she maintain a balance or continue to do this kind of work if she loses her cool with her children, meaning like if she has to yell at them for whatever reason. And I get it, you know what I mean? So with that said, to address not having enough time, we have this perception that we cannot fit in time. We can fit in time. However, we have to attach it to another practice that we already have the habit of doing. So and as I told her, you can attach this to like your nighttime routine and do this right before you go to bed. Have some kind of practice where you are checking in with your chakras, checking in with your energy, removing cords, cleansing your energetic body, releasing what no longer serves you, releasing the energy that doesn't belong to you, recalling your own energy, transmute it back to divine state in its perfect state. So there's many ways to do this, but in incorporating breath work, this can be done in as little as 3 minutes, right? So that could be attached to or piggybacked onto a practice that you have in the evening or whenever you are feeling like you can do it, right? It can be done on the fly as well, on the go, in the car. So one way you can do that is, and that's one way you can do that, but that's especially if you find that there's a problem with forming that habit. It starts by intention first. It's not going to be perfect at first. Then you'll build momentum. You'll start doing it more and more and more, and this will evolve and this will grow, right? Into something that you have created. Initially, it's a baseline that you receive from somebody that you've heard how to do this stuff, and then it evolves and you tweak it, it evolves, and you get the guidance from Spirit. So to address that B, it kind of bleeds into that, because as you do that practice, it helps you regulate your mental, emotional, and physical responses, right? So we are only human, and this is what I told her, we are only human, it's going to happen. However, we, at this point, because you're setting the intention to not lose your cool as much, or, because you gotta take baby steps. Lose cool, or, even if it's 100% not getting upset or anything like that, depending on what your goals are, everybody rears their children differently, or how you go about doing things. But the fact of the matter is that you're, by default, by having this practice, it will, and having the intention to catch yourself when you lose your cool or to try to stop it before it happens, will start happening. So what that means is that you have this mindfulness at this point, and you know the tools for damage control. And what this can look like is, if you lose your cool, obviously you're acknowledging it. You've caught it after the fact that this is what I've done. So the next step is to have a conversation with, let's say, for example, your child, right? Or whoever it is, and tell them why you lost your cool, and, and give them the apologies for reacting that way. and anything else that could accompany that to resolve the matter, right? Then, you know, if it's your child, I would definitely add in there, and I love you, and a hug, you know, a meaningful hug, so that they are aware, and also that, you know, trauma can be formed when just these little things too, these little things that happen. There's different levels of trauma, right? And there's a cumulative, and then there's the big ticket items, right? So, and also this creates not necessarily the trauma, but our choices and our reactions to things creates karma as well. And so by you doing damage control, you can definitely cancel that out, because you're correcting the situation. And like I said, this addresses your emotional, mental, and physical aspects by first verbally communicating, right? Communicating and running and processing these emotions and this energy. Then you can also use your meditative practice of energy maintenance, energy hygiene, energy alchemy, however you want to term it, to clear, cleanse, and you can even go as far as communicating with the higher self of the other person, whether it's your child or somebody else, to, you know, say your sorries, and that peace be had, and that things will be righted. So anyway, wanted to put that out there. It's all about balance. We're only human, and sometimes on the road to getting better and bettering ourselves, we have those moments where we have in the beginning, very often, where you relapse. And I'm not saying that's never going to happen, even if you're way advanced. It just happens less and less because you catch yourself more. But when it does happen, you know what to do to correct the situation. So there's mindfulness, and there's tools that you have that you can use. So much love.